RDU, and Show. Lots of great players and some great deck builders. Alliestrasza, Dog, Savitz, and of course, former world champion Firebat.
Yeah.
Versus Alliestrasza. Then move into Tyler versus Dog, RDU versus Savitz, and Show versus Firebat. And of course is Alliestrasza.
Yeah, 6 unique classes.
No, there's 2 Warlocks.
Oh, sorry, 2 Warlocks. Yep, missed that one.
But I think when I'm in right away, that's what I like to see. Orange. It looks like a Shadow Walk Shaman to me, and Alliestrasza is going to be playing Rogue as the first deck. So I've seen a few Rogue archetypes pop up. Tempo Rogue is probably the best performing deck. And the Burgle Rogue, the opponent's class card Rogue, is also a deck that I've seen a little bit more of because they've gotten a lot of support with some of the cards from the Witchwood.
Yeah, so taking a look at Orange's deck, I mean, it is quite different than a lot of the Shaman decks that we've seen in the past. You know, typically they've been very board-centric. They've been based around utilizing totems in some way or having very aggressive starts. This deck operates more like a control slash combo deck than it does, you know, pretty much previous to every single Shaman deck that we've seen in Hearthstone. It's got a lot of card draw in here with Mana Tide Totem, with Farsight, with Sandbinder. Sandbinder is a 4-mana, 2/4 neutral card that says draw an elemental from your deck. So you do a lot of work crafting to have a specific suite of specific suit of elementals, so that you're drawing the ones exactly that you need. It's not just a value thing of elementals; it's that you're in effect searching up the specific ones you use to unlock this giant potential of Shudderwalk.
Yeah. And on Alliestrasza's side, Tempo Rogue's gotten a few more tools. One of the big ones, I think, which is a card that a lot of players had rated very highly, was Hench Clan Thug, which is a 3-mana 3/3 that whenever your hero attacks, it gains +1/+1. And that effect continues to happen over and over again. So if you get one of those down on the board early as a rogue, you can invest in your dagger up on turn 2, play Hench Clan Thug on turn 3, and then immediately attack with your dagger on turn 3 when you play it. So it's a 4/4 immediately, and on top of that, it keeps getting buffed up every time you attack.
Yep, natural snowball.
Natural snowball. Yeah, so it's also a neutral, so it can be played in other decks as well. I've seen some players experiment with it in Druid. I feel like Warrior's also a place where it could live.
Light's Justice Paladin.
Light's Justice Paladin.
It's +4/+4 for 1 mana. You get to chip away at some 1 health guys.
That's right.
Perfect deck.
Yeah, but Alliestrasza starts off with a combo we've come to know and sometimes love. Prince Keleseth, Shadow Step Prince Keleseth. Every card in Alliestrasza's deck is going to have +2/+2 now.
That's right, and you're going to search up right away. Interesting to note, though, Orange, post-Doomsayer, has stuck a Mana Tide Totem to the table. This is a scary little minion to face off against, because if it starts cranking out card draw, not only do you still need to take care of it, but Orange's deck, at the end of the day, is a combo deck. Its goal is to assemble a giant combination of cards, largely not fight for board, but rather just fight for defense.
Yes.
Strictly defense until he has just an overwhelming amount of stuff to do with his combo. Yeah. So Alliestrasza is a little bit under the clock here, needs to apply some pressure, but also wants to disrupt Orange at the same time. So the minions in her deck, they tend to be a little bit more aggressive. In 2 copies of Spellbreaker, you know, they're great if in the mid-game situation, Orange is trying to say hi to Doomsayer behind a couple Saronite Chain Gangs. Or if he's trying to do something tricky like split a Mana Tide with a Doomsayer, so that way Alliestrasza's choice, let him draw cards or keep the board presence.
Yeah, a few more of the new cards that Alliestrasza has in her deck are Marshdrake, which is a 3-mana 5/4 that summons a 2/1 poisonous for your opponent. Also has great synergy in Rogue as well, because a lot of times if you've developed the dagger on turn 2, on turn 3 you play the Marshdrake, and dagger down the 2/1.
Yeah.
So it's basically a 3-mana 5/4 that you have to expend a little bit of health in the dagger charge in order to be able to deal with the drawback.
Reminds me like a weird Flame Imp in that regard. Deals you some damage, but you get a big minion.
You get a big minion, that's right. And also Witchwood Piper, which is a 4-mana 3/3, I believe, that draws the lowest cost minion from your deck.
Yeah, if you're tied for lowest cost, it'll just draw a random one of those.
Yes, and Alliestrasza only has the Firefly at that 1 slot, which means that it'll be guaranteed that unless she draws those Fireflies early on, in which case it could draw Prince Keleseth as well.
That's right.
If you've drawn those. So a pretty cool effect. And Face Collector, a 3-mana 2/2 with Echo that adds a random legendary minion to your hand.
Yeah.
So on turn 9, you can play 3 of those bad boys and get 3 legendaries and summon 3 2/2s.
That's right. Echo is the ability to play the card multiple times in that particular turn. The turn you play it, it'll add an additional phantom copy to your hand, and as long as you have mana, you can play that phantom copy. And something that I learned was a really cool interaction was with Dead Man's Hand. If you have one of those phantom copies of Echo cards in your hand, Dead Man's Hand will actually shuffle it back into your deck as well.
So you can use it, decide if you want to Dead Man's Hand it, and then at the end of the turn, if you still have that phantom copy,
keep playing it.
Shuffle it in. But Orange is just trying to stifle the pressure. It's, like you mentioned, classic combo deck. Just trying to stifle enough of the pressure.
The word classic there is really funny to me because I'm like, Shutterwalk. Classic Shutterwalk Shaman.
Its game plan is similar to a classic combo deck,
yes,
but its win condition is very, very, very much so different.
And brand new.
Sometimes it's you don't even realize how it's beating you until until you leave your computer for 5 minutes and come back and your hero's exploded.
I mean, if you've never seen it before, the first time it happens, you're like, I don't understand what's happening. Like why? Like how is he supposed to win? He's just dealing a bunch of damage and returning all his minions to your hand. Well, you replay the Shutterwalk, sometimes multiple times in a game, and what's happening is you're healing yourself to 30 via the Life Drinker battle cries being stacked up. Again, the Life Drinker is the drain for 3 battle cry on your opponent. And you do that enough times, and eventually you get them. It reminds me a lot of the way that Freeze Mage used to play, where the entire game plan was draw lots of cards, stop your opponent from outright killing you, and then have a late game push with a sustained mechanism of damage. And so Freeze Mage relied on Ice Block, which is now rotated to the Hall of Fame. And so you look at new combo decks, how else am I going to combo someone else? You probably need that extra life. So Life Drinker with Shutterwalk, a very natural fit for this style of combo.
Yeah, and it is going to be hard for Orange to sort of get to that point in this game because Alliestrasza with the double Prince Keleseth early on in the game.
It's a lot of pressure.
It is a lot of pressure. Serenite Chain Gang, 4 mana, 1 card, summon 2 4/5s with taunt. That is so much pressure. And Orange is going to need to find a way to stifle some of this. And it looks like he's just going to try and absorb some damage with the Doomsayer. Throw out the Loot Hoarder to draw closer to those combo effects.
Yeah, I mean, you think about how much mana that Orange needs to expend in order for the combo to operate properly. There's a couple things that have to happen. Number one, he needs both Life Drinkers down. He needs to have played them at some point. You're going to want to have played Serenite Chain Gang, or otherwise the combo with Grumble or with Zola the Gorgon doesn't work quite as effectively. With Grumble, it's a 6 mana 7/7 that says Battle Cry, return all of your other minions to your hand and change their cost to 1. Zola the Gorgon, of course, adds that golden copy to your hand. So both those effects can allow you to play multiple Shutterwalks. But now if you want to play one or the other of those, that's another 3 or 6 mana. Then on top of that, you need at least 1 Serenite Chain Gang down. It's another 4 mana. Just right off the bat, we're looking at minimum 15 mana he needs to sink into cards. They don't have a ton of board presence in order to just unlock the potential of that combo. It's a lot of work he's got to do.
Yeah. Whoa! Alliestrasza gets a Shutterwalk from the Face Collector.
Whoa!
Oh
and she's got a lot of battle cries of her own. I mean, mind you, there's now 2 Face Collectors in there. There's a Serenite Chain Gang. There's a Spellbreaker. She's got Vilespine Slayer, 2 Prince Keleseths, a Firefly. Like, that's a lot of stuff that Shutterwalk is producing.
When she plays that Shutterwalk, it's going to summon a copy of another minion that she has on the field. It's also going to buff her to cards. Additionally...
Well, it's a copy. It's a copy of itself, right?
Oh yeah, a copy of itself.
Yes.
Yeah, a copy of itself. She's gonna add +2/+2 again to the minions in her deck.
She's gonna draw 2 legendaries because of the Face Collectors. She's gonna silence something at random, and add a little Flame Elemental to her hand too.
And kill a random minion.
Yeah, the targets from Shutterwalk are chosen at random, so it actually is quite important that Life Drinker is just an opponent that you drain for 3.
Volcano, I don't think this is a full board clear. It's not. It's going to leave a 4/2 on the board. Not quite enough, but that is enough for the time being for Orange. He's got 2 Life Drinkers and the Rotten Apple Bomb to try and stabilize a little bit. He's drawn Shutterwalk. Does need to find that Grumble.
What is that for? That's a Rotten Apple Bomb. I kept looking at that Rotten Apple Bomb, and I was like, it looks like an Arcane Golem to me.
Yeah. Rotten Apple Bomb, a 5 mana 4/5 taunt. That has a Death Rattle, restore 4 health to your hero.
Yeah, nice little road hump for your opponent.
Yeah, it seems like a good anti-aggro tool currently. Because it has taunt, it also has a little bit of a heal attached to it.
That Thug is going to get big. He's already big.
Yeah, and he might even get buffed with the Cobalt Scalebane, which would make him even larger.
Yeah,
There's actually 13, 18. There's lethal setup on the board.
Ooh.
Orange does draw into Healing Rain, but
He's got a pair of life drinkers as well. So he does have the Murmuring Elemental in hand. It's a 2-mana 1/1 Elemental. It says your next battle cry happens twice.
yeah.
So with Life Drinker, it's going to stack 2 Life Drinkers on, and I believe that actually incorporates into Shudderwalk at the end as well. So if you've Murmuring Elementaled a battle cry, I believe that counts twice towards Shudderwalk at the end.
I have to say, I haven't paid attention enough. As soon as my opponent plays Shudderwalk, I kind of
It's a lot of battle cries.
throw my hands in the air and complain. There's a Life Drinker. It looks like Orange is... Wow, so not getting full value to the Healing Rain. Orange, he's as stable as possible, potentially going into Shudderwalk turn, but this Shudderwalk is not the most powerful. And to be honest, since this is the Witchwood Invitational, and the goal, yes, it's to win for these players, but it's also to show off some of the new cards, I'm jamming Shudderwalk every time.
You can tell Allie's thinking about it. She's like, I really want to play the Shudderwalk, but I really want to win this game, too.
Well, I'm pretty sure Shudderwalk, she wins again.
This is definitely the play. This is just crazy. I mean, what are the odds of this happening?
There's
like,
another +1.
You
+1.
are playing a Shudderwalk Shaman yourself as Orange, and suddenly you run into Shudderwalk Rogue, and they're getting a ton of battle cries from it.
Oh, and it gets an
Archmage. Is it Arugula? Like Arugula?
Yeah.
Archmage Arugula, yeah.
He's very healthy.
2-mana 2/2 legendary mage minion. It says whenever you draw a minion, add a copy of it to your hand.
No, Valspine Slayer is not a battle cry. It's a combo.
Oh, that's right.
I always forget about that. Because while it has a similar effect as a battle cry, it reads as it's a combo.
Test Greymane. 8-mana 6/6.
She can play Shudderwalk again.
Yes, it says battle cry. Play all of the cards that you've played previously in this game that are not from your class. Or that are from other classes, rather.
Does that include battle cries? I'm so
Does
lost.
it say play them?
It says replay.
That's a great question. Because it's not resummon, it says replay. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that works.
Hopefully we'll see.
Look at Allie's face, too. She's like, what? This game is a mess right now.
Not from her side. From her side, this game is incredible.
It's just funny. Like, what are the odds of this happening? Take that, silenced Shudderwalk.
Well, that is...
Oh, my gosh. TJ, what is going on?
That is lethal damage, but...
Whoa. Whoa, slow down.
But... I'm Shadow Stepping the Shudderwalk every time.
Okay, so you just simply don't kill Orange here. You take him like 2, let him know you've got the business. She's really thinking about it. She's like, I really want to play the second Shudderwalk. But
yeah, she thought about it for a second, but Alliestrasza is going to take game number 1, Rogue versus Shudderwalk Shaman. Starting things off on the right foot, and, you know.
Tended to work.
And we are going to see it again.
Ooh.
And Alliestrasza is playing Quest Warrior, and by the look of the cards in her hand, it looks like it is the odd cost Warrior.
That's right.
With Baku the Moon Eater. So we're going to be
one.
seeing some tank up.
So at the start of the game, if you have Baku the Moon Eater in your deck, and you only have odd-costed cards in your deck, you upgrade your hero power. If you remember Justicar Trueheart, she's back. And if you don't remember, all the classes get upgraded, and the hero power for Warrior goes from 2 armor to 4 armor a turn.
Now, you may be asking, Admirable, but why play the quest? You're going to get rid of your tank up once you equip that Sulfuras. Well, Admirable.
You also...
It doesn't matter at that point.
You become Ragnaros.
Yeah. At that point, you've theoretically gained enough armor to stabilize yourself enough to where the Sulfuras can win you the game in the Ragnaros hero power.
And that was one of the troubles that Quest Warrior had for quite a while, actually, was its ability to simply sustain itself. You might be thinking that a deck full of nothing but basically taunt minions would have not a tough time doing that, but the reality of the matter is that you take a lot of chip damage if your opponent's able to go wide on board. Yeah. Say they have like a Blessing of Kings to run over one of your taunts. Suddenly a very threatening minion. So having tank up available does give you some extra time. And also, some of the control decks deal a lot more damage than they used to. I'm looking towards Q-Block, for instance. Lots of Doom Guards deal lots of damage, and lots of tank ups mean lots more life.
And also, Admirable, you may ask me, does Baku affect the Sulfuras hero power? Does it become 16 damage?
The answer to that is no.
No.
It only upgrades your starting
hero
power. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. You can make it deal 16 if you really want to, though, TJ.
Yes, with the
Clockwork Automaton, is it?
Clockwork Automaton?
I don't know.
I think that's at least close to correct.
It's a 5-mana 4/4 that says double the damage and healing of your hero powers.
Yep.
So that's right. It will deal 16 if you have a Sulfuras from Fireplume's Heart.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know.
60 damage is pretty cool.
Ragnaros, pretty cool. Zola is just such a cool card.
Yeah. And Orange using the Zola early to get the Life Drinker, because Life Drinker is one of the most important battle cries for Shadowwalk later in the game, because it allows you to, keep stabilizing every time you play one. And I say every time you play one because the full combo is post-Grumble, when you're going to be able to summon multiple Shudderwalks because of Serenite Chain Gang, and then the Grumble battle cry takes place, and you bring back 1 mana Shudderwalks into your hand, and then continue the combo as is.
Yeah, you can oftentimes
an infinite loop of Shudderwalks.
You can oftentimes Shudderwalk twice, and it's not too terribly uncommon if you have the time to do so. Being able to play Zola the Gorgon prior to it, being able to play Grumble prior to it. This is more of a matchup that I think Orange is looking for, where he expects to take some damage, but not in these giant bursts all at once, not from super health-efficient minions. If you're trying to fight against Shudderwalk Shaman on an attrition war perspective, you have the clock against you, because Shudderwalk will very easily turn that around. The way you want to beat this deck is exactly how Alliestrasza did in game number 1. It's giant minions early on that deal a lot of damage and pressure.
And boards that aren't cleared by Volcano.
Well, that helps too.
Or reload after the Volcano and force them to have second Volcano.
Or both.
Or both.
Both is good.
That's great.
Reckless Flurry, 5 damage to all minions. There goes the armor.
Yeah, but she only had 5 at that stage, so not a terribly large amount.
That's what use the tank up for.
Yeah, and tank up's just going to be able to get that armor total back up much quicker.
Gore Howl in hand, second Reckless Flurry. Alliestrasza's got some good cards in this one, but Orange, he's having so much time to build up his battle cry pool. And so a lot of times with this deck, what I've seen so far is when I'm watching people stream it, sometimes just play Grumble. You don't necessarily need to generate value from Grumble. It's the fact that you're adding that to your Death Rattle pool. I'm sorry, to your Battle Cry pool. It unlocks the potential for Shudderwalk to have those multiple endgame instances.
I wonder, so we've seen in the past N'Zoth, which resummons all of your Death Rattle minions. Now we're seeing Shudderwalk, which recasts all your battle cries.
We've seen Yogg-Saron, which recasts all your spells.
All your spells.
Effectively.
What's next?
Weapons.
Replay all your weapons.
Just one by one, they all just die over and over again.
Oh my god.
Retake all the damage you've taken this game.
Oh, and there's also Hadronox.
Oh yeah, replay all your taunts.
Replay all your taunts.
Wow, there's a lot of things you can do with that. Regain all your mana crystals.
Twig of the World Tree.
Boom! I made up a card that already exists. Hearthstone's too smart.
Oh, and Kun the Forgotten King.
Oh my gosh, there's... My dream is dead. Can't be a card designer.
Admirables making up cards that already exist.
Your Honor, you take away our right to steal ideas, where else they gotta come from?
All right, and there's the Grumble effect. Bring back a Life Drinker.
Yeah,
and Life Drinker and the Fireplume Harbinger.
Yeah, if you get value from Grumble, though, it starts to get a little bit scary. This is a lot of stuff that Orange is going to get. And Alliestrasza with Orange still at 30 and 2 copies of Healing Rain in his hand, I think that this is a very uphill battle that she's somehow got to figure out.
And already the Serenade Chain Gang and the Shudderwalk in hand, multiple Life Drinkers being played, the Grumble Battle Cry being triggered already.
The Murmuring Elemental to double your next Battle Cry.
Yep.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. And these taunt options, not the best. But at this point, it's pretty much just about finishing the quest to try and put Orange on the back foot slightly.
Now, there is a chance that Shutterwalk can't play multiple instances, even if you have the ideal Battlecry pool. What would happen is the Grumble and the Zola the Gorgon would both be in the chain of Battlecries prior to Sarnet Chain Gang happening. If that's the case, that's a chance for Alliestrasza to sustain through one copy of Shutterwalk, kill it so that it's dead, and then Orange is out of Shutterwalks at that point. Then he's got to win the game the natural way, just good old attacking with minions and stuff.
Yeah, I really liked how you put it there. Kill it so that it's dead.
Yeah.
Because once you kill it, it's dead.
Yeah. It's hard for Orange to make a second copy of it if it's not alive.
Ah, Healing Rain. So peaceful. So serene.
I love the rainbow that goes across the sky when you play Healing Rain. Like across your hero portrait. Like the animation.
Well, Admiral, that's just science.
Well, I know that. I'm just saying I like it.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
I also do as well.
I also do as well.
Alright, one taunt minion away from quest completion. Alliestrasza can get that done this turn. Can't equip Soul Frost this turn.
I'm liking that Rotten Apple Bomb.
Yep, Rotten Apple Bomb.
Rotten Apple Bomb jeans. Equips the boots with the fur. Good to go.
Twigs with the leaves.
What are the greaves from the solo adventure that make all your minions cost 0 this turn?
Minion Greaves.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know.
Someone tweeted me. Let me know what the name of that thing is.
That's a great question, though, Admiral.
That's the boots.
The boots with the minions. All right, Burlock drawn. Burlock, I haven't seen included in every list. Granted, we have not seen very much of.
I've seen about 20 different Shutterwalk Shaman lists.
So have I. They have one thing in common, or a few things in common.
Hang on. Here we go.
Here we go. And does fit the Murmuring Elemental in there, so he's going to trigger twice. And Alliestrasza, that is the face of someone who just got Shutterwalked.
Yeah, I noticed that Grumble has yet to happen as well, so there are going to be there's going to be at least one cost copy of Shutterwalk in hand because Sarnet Chain Gang happens first.
And there it is.
Yeah. You want to see that Grumble right away. If it happens before Shutterwalk copies himself, different story.
Oh, and because they trigger twice, because of the Murmuring Elemental, we get to go through it again.
That's right. He's Murmuring, so he is guaranteed on the Murmuring.
Yes.
There's no outcome in which he does not end up with a one-cost Grumble in his hand.
Yeah.
Fill up his hand first, and then it burns him, maybe? That's about it. And yeah, that's
4 more Shutterwalks.
Yeah, that's probably going to do it.
3 of them cost 1, and 1 of them cost 9. Not that it matters. And then you just keep doing that over and over again. And that, folks, is Shutterwalk Shaman in a nutshell. That was a hard sentence to say.
I liked it, though. It was well crafted.
Thank you.
If you like combo, this is a great time to be alive.
Now, there is 10 cards in hand, so Orange is forced to overdraw the Farsight.
Oh, no!
And I'm pretty sure that just gets up. He just leaves.
He's like, "Yep, that'll do it. Let me refill this coffee real quick."
Oh my God.
That's how that works.
Oh my
That's how that works. If you like combo, this is the time to be alive in Hearthstone right now.
He just jammed down his 3 Grumbles with the Murmuring Elemental.
It's so spectacular. Hashtag well played, Orange.
So he gives the thumbs up as he comes back, too.
He's like, oh, it's still going, yeah. I wanted to catch the end of this.
This is what happens when you play a deck that gives Shutterwalk Shaman enough time to piece together that combination.
Yeah, the key is restricting its time. It's got a window of opportunity to make this happen. And if you can pressure it out instead, oftentimes you can have enough board presence where the Shutterwalk doesn't actually have time to kill you. You know, it maybe deals you a lot of damage, but say you have a big board-wide buff and just enough damage in play to kill your opponent. That's the way you do it. If you want to stop it from a pure suppression angle, though, that likely is not going to happen.
No.
I'm trying to think, if you played, like, going into that turn, if you played, like, 2 Mana Wraiths, and they didn't have any zaps. Zap is a 0 mana, deal 2 damage, overload for 1.
And they just kill it and do it the next turn.
Well, they're overloaded, so you got to kill the Mana Wraiths.
Yeah. So it delays it a few turns.
So you wait, and then you call to arms at the perfect moment to get 2 Mana Wraiths in play. That's a suppression effect that kills it.
Nicely done, Admirable. You found the counter.
Nice.
The mana rates. Thousands of players are currently going to their collection to craft. If you've seen Taunt Quest Warrior in the past, it's not like a traditional control deck where it just tries to run your opponent out of resources. It tries to stabilize long enough with taunt minions in order to complete a quest, which becomes its win condition.
That's right, and it's going to be
Voodoo Doll.
The old Taunt Warrior again for Alliestrasza. Orange, he's moving over to Q-Block, but there's quite a few new tools that this deck picked up that are they're a bit interesting to me. I think one of the ones that really interests me the most is Dark Possession. Yep. It's a 1-cost spell. It says deal 2 damage to a friendly character, so you can target yourself with this, and then you discover a demon. Which
also includes Nightmare Amalgam, because it is an elemental, a mech, a demon, a murloc, a dragon, a beast, a pirate, and a totem.
It's like the end of that Johnny Cash song. So I'm every minion type man. You know? He's just listing off all the minions that he is.
I do
Not
know.
The places that he's been.
I was thinking it's more like a Bob Dylan song. Just because I feel like he said...
Oh, because you can't understand it.
Yeah. I feel like he said all of those words at one point in some of his songs, but I have no idea. Yeah, and also some of the other tools that Orange has included. Ratcatcher, which destroys a friendly minion, gains its stats, and also has Rush.
Yeah, 3 mana 2/2.
Yeah, so it can act as a cube activator as well as removal tool in the same card.
Yeah.
Because you're gaining its stats, you're destroying it to activate the Death Rattle, and then you can use that, which is now a 6/8 Rush that can help you gain back the board and destroy your opponent's minions. It also sticks around.
It's also just a good card. I mean, say like you pulled a Void Lord out of a Skull of Minari.
Yeah.
And you don't really need the Void Lord. Your opponent's not applying a lot of pressure. They just have like one big thing stacked on the board. The Ratcatcher can absorb those stats and just act as a value machine, just hitting down minion after minion after minion because it just got +3/+9.
Yeah. And also another card included is Baleful Banker, which is a 2-mana 2/2 that chooses a friendly minion and puts a copy of that minion in your deck.
Yeah, I love
so
Banker.
With all the demons that you want in your deck and Possessed Lackey and just the way the deck works with you want to have a flood of demons that are constantly being kind of cheated out. Baleful Banker just allows you to have one more that you have access to in your deck. Also Lord Godfrey, which is sort of the Defile effect, 7 mana 4/4 that deals 2 damage to every minion, and then if it kills every other minion, and then if it kills one, it repeats that effect. So it's like a very upgraded Defile that's attached to a
It's like a hyper primordial Drake.
Yeah. That just keeps going. And of course, Rotten Apple Bomb, which we've talked about, which is kind of just sort of the anti-aggro tool. 5 mana 4/5 taunt, which restores 4 health to your hero. So a lot of new tools being utilized by Orange in this Q-Block. It does sort of have the same types of win conditions that Q-Block did in previous iterations. It just has a couple ways to do that even better at times, which is pretty neat. It did lose N'Zoth, so it can't summon back that huge board of Void Lords and Cubes again.
Sad day. I love N'Zoth.
Yeah, but did get some tools to make up for it. Alliestrasza, though, this Taunt Warrior is getting in some damage.
Well, that's the thing. You still have to check Taunt Warrior. You can't just any deck that plays minions. You have to check eventually. You can't just ignore the stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what the Skull of Minari is for. You ignore it for just one more turn, and then you start cranking out some demons. But there are what looks like some. Wait, is that Lord Godfrey in hand? He's not a demon, is he?
Lord Godfrey in hand. No, he's not.
Okay, yeah, there's no negative hits here. For some reason, I was thinking that was a demon.
Nope. And there's the Ratcatcher.
Ooh. 1/5 Poisonous in play for Allie, though. I mean, Orange has got to take care of that. That's going to wipe out the Void Lord body really easily.
Yes, it is. And stick around as well. Orange does have the option to Q plus Dark Pact.
Oh no, that's not. That's a reasonable play. It's not that powerful.
Yeah, and on Alliestrasza's side, we didn't talk about some of the cards that Odd Cost Warrior lost. Voodoo Doll is sort of in there to make up for the loss of Execute.
It's a 3-mana 3/3 or 3-mana 1/1. It says Battle Cry. Choose a minion.
I think it's a 0/1.
No, it's a 1/1.
Oh, is it a 1/1?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a 3-mana 1/1, and it says Battle Cry. Choose a minion, and then it says Death Rattle. Destroy that minion.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a spooky little what are those things called?
Pumpkins?
No.
Baseball bats?
I guess it's just Voodoo Doll. You know, like in all the cartoons, they'd like put the pin in it or whatever, and like they would tickle it with the feather, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't stop laughing."
Voodoo Doll. Oh, what is it? It's one of those.
Oh, jeez,
Voodoo Dolls.
No, there's a specific name for it that I can't think of right now. I don't know what it is. I'm not a word wizard. Little known fact.
The only thing that's coming to my head is acupuncture doll. But that makes
wow, I feel so much better.
That makes 0 sense. No, I know what you're talking about, though.
It's some spooky word that I can't think of. Now, the one downside to having Baku the Moon Eater in your deck is that sometimes you actually draw Baku the Moon Eater.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty well statted. It's a 9-mana 7/9.
It's subjective.
It's a Doom Caller.
9 mana. It's a 7/8? 7/9?
7/9. Yeah, I think it's a 7/9. It's like a Doom Caller. You don't necessarily put it in the deck because of the body.
Of course.
Yeah. The cool thing that I like about Baku and again Greymane, its even cost counterpart, is that when you throw it in your deck in the collection at the beginning of your deck creation, you get the option to filter all of your cards by even or odd cost, odd cost, depending on whether it was Baku or Gen that you had put in your deck. So
Very first time I did that, I was like, oh, that is super helpful.
The very first time I did it, I actually made my whole deck before I put Baku in. And it's like, do you want to sort your collection by odd cost cards? And I was like, wow, this would have been really helpful. So just a fun tip for you guys if you're trying to experiment. Oh no!
Blunder!
So there were some pro players that were making, sort of jokes on social media saying, I can't even think of a board that Lord Godfrey doesn't clear.
Well,
and Orange is probably thinking that in his head right now.
Correct. He cannot think of a board that Lord Godfrey doesn't clear.
Yeah, he didn't think of it.
You can realize them, but thinking of it, much more difficult.
Yeah. It doesn't clear everything. You do have to have a 2-health minion to start, or 1 health.
Yeah, the Grizzly guy is not so good. That 5 mana that Alliestrasza's got in hand, that guy, he loses a health for each card your opponent has in hand. So against aggro, that's usually a pretty good tool. There's oftentimes they'll have between 0 and 3 cards in hand. So you're looking at like 3/9 taunt a lot of times for that. Against Warlock, however, they're often going to have 7, 8, 9 cards in hand. Loses a little bit of weight, so there's some hit and miss with that card.
Yeah. All Orange needed to do on the previous turn was attack one of his Voidwalkers, I believe, into
a single one.
Yeah. But just kind of, probably got a little bit ahead of himself. It happens to the best of us.
Especially with, we're talking day 1 of new cards.
Yeah.
Hasn't even been out for 48 hours. How much time could you have really had to go through the motions of memorizing simple formulas for Lord Godfrey activation checks?
But it still looks like Orange has a pretty considerable lead. Now, Alliestrasza will be able to get, if she picks up one more taunt minion, we'll be able to get the Solross online. But is it too late since Orange has such a massive board?
Well, that's 8 damage to the board with another tank up activation, 9 damage with shield block. There's some stuff going on here. The problem is that Orange has got Blood Reaver Gul'dan in hand, so she would need to do that twice.
She does have, looks like the 2 copies of the Reckless Flurry, but not the second one in hand. And she still needs another taunt minion to be able to complete the quest. She has no hope of winning the game unless she starts to get that 8 damage online.
I spotted the out. You leave the Void, the 1/3s, the Void Walkers there. You get Sulfuros online, and just every single shot hits Orange in the face. Every single one.
Admirable.
Brawl!
Brawl is usually best saved for post Soul Frost because it allows you to isolate a target.
But that's the second board clear is the key.
Yeah, so now has at least somewhat of an answer to Blood River.
I wonder why she tanked it first there. Because she had 9 armor, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe
Yeah, that's just a little bit of a mechanical mistake. Does she want to take damage for anything?
No, because it's an odd cost card deck, so she's going to have access to Battle Rage.
Yeah, just a little bit of a mechanical. You know, Orange is Orange does a big one. You got to do a little one for Orange too. You're like, here, like I know I would take a little extra damage here. Let me tank up first.
Making him feel a little bit better about it himself for the Lord Godfrey. How kind. We're going to keep tapping away.
Tippity tapping. Something funny about just having 7 taunts in play.
7 taunts and only 10 power. Gonna heal up off his own Voidwalker in order to make space for the Doomguard to be so next turn.
Ooh. I mean, now Allie's got some pieces moving now. I mean, this is not totally out of reach. She's missing a taunt. But Tank Up's negating 4 of the 9 damage on board right now.
But with the Dark Pact being played in the Voidwalker, Alliestrasza has to realize that there's probably a demon in hand, and since both Voidwalkers have been naturally pulled from the hand, it's going to be a Doomguard, so the pressure's going to be a little bit higher.
What now?
I'm honestly just thinking about slamming the Baku here.
I was thinking about it. I kind of just want to draw cards, too. You know, you got to think about what's in your deck right now and how you get out of these situations. When
yeah, she does need to get the taunt.
Ton of new cards in your deck, and you know you don't know exactly what's in Orange's deck either. He's got some new stuff in there. It's a little bit harder. Voodoo Doll, of course, also very welcome in a lot of the Q block decks using Dark Pact, or just Mortal Coil it. Or even just sweeping it up in an AoE with Defile, and you can kill a lot of big stuff very easily with Voodoo Doll.
Or even just leaving it there.
I've done that, and it didn't feel very good when it got Spellbreaker. I was like, I should have just waited.
I should have just taken the 14 damage from his Furnace Fire Colossus.
Furnace Fire Colossus. Oh, that's the replay all your weapons. It just replays them all like it's like an inverse effect.
Ah, so it already exists.
Hellfire, just to make board space, I guess. Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And the Baleful Banker, which will shuffle another Doomguard.
Get in there, Doomguard.
Back into your deck. A similar effect to the, was it Manic Soulcaster?
Yeah.
The 3-mana 3/4 Mage card.
That's right.
Which I don't believe is in the format anymore.
No, that was
it was part of Mean Streets of Gadgetzan.
Yeah. So Allie draws a couple taunts. She's got the Phantom Militia. Is that what it's called?
Phantom Militia, yes.
2/4 with Echo. Echo allows you to replay the card as many times as you can in that turn for its same mana cost. But she's under heat. So she's got to check the board. She's got to defend herself. She's got to find a way to launch an assault on Orange. And once again, combo style decks are really what a lot of control decks are going to suffer to.
Yes.
Their goal is to kill a lot of just very efficient minions that your opponent plays, and then to have an inevitability condition towards the end.
Quest finally complete, but it may be just a little bit too late. Orange is still sitting at a healthy life total of 20.
No demon this turn though. He's gotta use the old Blood Reaver Gul'dan if he wants that.
Oh no.
Well, if there's no Doomguard.
There's one Doomguard.
Yeah, but if it doesn't get summoned, there's only 7 spaces.
Oh yeah. 7 Voidwalker. Nope.
And that's Doomguard. Wow, that's actually... I forgot about the Flame Imp, too. That's quite unlucky for Allie.
Yeah, there was a lot of low-cost demons in the pool. There was a chance for 7 Voidwalkers.
It doesn't shred it, so... I mean, this is very certainly, in my opinion, a brawl turn. It's just how do you brawl? Is it Ironbeak Owl with the 3/9 in brawl, so that way if it dies, Orange doesn't get the taunts, so that maybe you can clear the way for Sulfuras to get big? Do you maybe just play a bunch of taunts on your own?
Or if you're feeling exceptionally unlucky, you can Voodoo Doll brawl to guarantee that the Void Lord dies.
The problem is the 1/3s, though.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's some sort of brawl. That's kind of where my head is sitting right now. I could see like a pair of taunts and a tank up. Just force Orange to try to push through it with a bunch of relatively attack inefficient minions. But that opens her up to if Orange has got that Voodoo Doll of his own, if he's got big spell stones that have been buffed up. So I like this play. This is, I think, the best chance. Oh, the Ironbeak Owl was so close. He needed to take out one little Flame Imp.
The final battle was between Flame Imp and Ironbeak Owl. But stifled a lot of the pressure. Got through the only wave of demons.
That's a Doomguard. That's a cube. And that's hero powers for days.
I mean, this turn just looks, to be honest, like a hero power attack with the Flame Imp pass to set up for next turn. The Doomguard being summoned, and then you can Q plus Ratcatcher to get through a taunt.
Yep. Q plus Ratcatcher. That's a lot. That's 3 Doomguards attacking that turn.
Yeah, I just don't see a way out for Alliestrasza here. She just doesn't have enough time to deal the remaining 28 points of damage plus some because of the hero power health swing.
Yeah, one of the big things I feel like you miss with Odd Cost Warrior is the ability to play Dry Whisker or Armorer, get 14 armor from your opponent's board, and then brawl. That to me has been one of the major stabilizing tools for a lot of control warrior decks. Is just the big armor swings they get when your opponent has a full board and then clearing it out. So it gives you time to actually do something post-response to your brawl as well. So if your opponent keeps initiative very well, you have something that keeps compounding that issue over and over again.
Yeah. Also, you can't play Rotface. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Can't play any even cost cards. Rotface. Why was that the first one you go to?
It's an 8-mana warrior legendary.
It's a good card.
He's a good guy.
Poor little Flame Imp. He's so young.
And it looks like that is... no. Not quite. Oh, no, it is. 13 health. Yep. Because he can fit into hero power as well.
Ah, yeah.
So it looks like that's exactly 13 damage. Because Orange has the Rat Catcher to be able to activate the cube. And then hero power to finish the game. It looks like Orange is going to take game number 3.
So at keyword rush. Rushes can attack minions this turn. Can't stack players this turn.
Yeah, but Ratcatcher just also has the added benefit of a lot of times you just need something to activate your cube on the same turn that you play it.
It's a good card.
And it has the bonus of that it gains stats and it gains that rush. You can push through and then push through damage with Doom Guards. Very nice addition. Games, across the room, and I played probably like 8 games. Then Abel turns around and goes, "I got him!" And it was the same game that he'd been playing like 35 minutes prior.
I had one 47-minute game.
None will survive.
It was against the it was against a priest that played an Archbishop Benedictus. But I already had a dead man's hand in my hand.
Oh my goodness. All right. So let's get into it. Alliestrasza is going to play the
Orange.
Odd Cost Warrior again.
Orange, he's on even cost Paladin right now. Notice his hero power costs 1 mana. That's again Greymane for you. If your deck contains only even cost cards at the start of the game, your hero power becomes 1 mana. And so there's Paladin, I think, is one of the classes that has pretty exceptional use with both Baku and with Gen Greymane. With the odd cost Paladin, you end up with Level Up, you end up with Lost in the Jungle, Righteous Protector, but you don't have Call to Arms. You don't have Knife Juggler. With the even cost Paladin, of course, you lose the cards I just mentioned, but you get Call to Arms, you get Knife Juggler.
You get Sunkeeper Terram.
That's right. Those are huge cards.
Now, in the Odd Cost Paladin, you get Stonehill Defender, which now with Wicker Flame Burn Bristle being rotated out, you have a higher likelihood than the last set to get Sunkeeper Terror because it's weighted more towards class cards. But
interesting trade-offs that you have.
yeah, I just think if you look at them side by side, the 1 mana hero power or the 2 mana but summon 2 1/1s, the summon 2 1/1s seems like it can flood the board way more easily. But you kind of have like weaker overall boards, if that makes sense.
Weaker overall cards, really, is what it feels like. To me, anyway.
And so
trade-off is that your hero power is worth a lot more, though.
It's going to be really interesting to see the evolution of what these even-cost, odd-cost paladins become, which one emerges as the front-runner, or if none of them emerges as the front-runner and people just play good stuff aggro paladin.
It's possible.
With both even-cost and odd-cost cards. I know it's crazy to think about.
I've never done this before. You know, it is an interesting thought, though. What's better? Is it card quality or is it just stuff? Like, is more stuff better than card quality? I don't know. A lot of times it is. Just depends on what your opponents are doing.
What's better? A pound of mediocre chocolate or a single bite of delicate, delicious, decadent Triple D chocolate?
To me, that's not a question.
A pound of chocolate. Yeah, I know.
It's the exact opposite.
So
I love that little guy, too.
So that means that I play Odd Cost Paladin. You play Even Cost Paladin.
The Vicious Scalehide. 1/3 Rush Lifesteal. With Even Cost Paladin, I think this is a great addition to what's going to be coming out of Call to Arms, because it just provides you some sort of immediate damage to go with it. Now, something that Orange doesn't have that I'm quite interested in is that he actually doesn't have Direwolf Alpha in the deck. And so when I was playing against it and I was playing with it, Direwolf Alpha landing next to one of these guys was also like another big factor that was included into that. Just the fact that it was a 2/3 that could attack immediately meant Call to Arms was providing you not only just the immediate advantage of having the board, but the immediate advantage of the attack as well.
You know what card's interesting to me?
Hang on. Ironbark Protector.
No.
Dang it.
The Glass Knight in Orange's deck. It's a 4-mana 4/3 with Divine Shield that whenever your hero gains health, it gains Divine Shield.
That's the new Paladin Legendary.
New Paladin Legendary. But the only way that Orange has to gain health in his deck...
True Silver Champion. And
oh, no, the Vicious Scalehide.
Vicious Scalehide.
Huh.
Just a little tiny hidden synergy with it. It reminds me a lot of like a piloted Shredder almost, where it's a 4/3 that just, if something happens to it, it sticks around. Except it features that ability to just go absolutely nuts if you
have the right tools.
Yeah.
To protect it. Interesting card. Orwin picked up the only AoE that Alliestrasza has been able to find so far, and her health just starting to get chipped away a little bit.
And something that's really interesting also about Orange's deck is, you think about even cost cards. Tyrion's in the 8 slot as well. Orange is just not running Tyrion. He's running 2 copies of Silver Sword.
Silver Sword's really good.
It really is. It's an 8-mana 3/4 weapon that says, whenever it attacks, your minions get +1/+1
permanently.
That is a lot of stuff on a weapon. You're talking about a deck that just plays a lot of, little dorks, and you get enough of them, and suddenly, you're going on a crusade. That Silver Sword leads the troops into battle. They're ready to fight.
Dork Paladin. You know what he's also playing? He's playing a copy of Spellbreaker, which is a 4-mana 4/3 that can silence a minion. Alliestrasza is going to take the opportunity to clear off some stuff while she can. Try and stifle the pressure a little bit. And good thing she did, because she was going into Sunkeeper Terram turn, and that's exactly what Orange is able to pick up.
It's gonna have to run that back, though. I mean, Orange has got another reload to the board. She's got to worry about Blessing of Kings. She's got to worry about Spike Ridge Steed. All of those cards throughout the entirety of the game are going to constantly have Alliestrasza under pressure. It's really the threat of the power that is the power of a lot of these Paladin cards. And so if you're out there building non-cost warriors, something to think about. How on earth do you keep all this stuff in check for long enough to unlock this potential?
That's a good T-shirt idea. The threat of the power is the power. Oh, it's a good metal band name.
That's just a very cliche statement that's, probably centuries old. I don't actually know that, but I'm just going to guess.
Who said it first? Probably Bob Dylan. The threat of the power is the power.
And the harmonica. He's like
Just get smashed
playing
in the
17
Coliseum.
instruments. No, Bob Dylan played Hearthstone.
Slamma Jamma, the Rotten Apple Bama. Not a great t-shirt idea.
Combat.
Not a great t-shirt idea.
I disagree.
But
Excellent t-shirt idea.
Sunkeeper Tarim. I actually like one of these 1/1s traded in, and then the weapon attack, and then you 1/1 with the hero power, and then Sunkeeper Tarim.
That's crazy.
It's way more value.
He's got Silver Sword to draw. I'm using that weapon. All right.
Impression is just less damage.
Maybe you wanted the board space?
I guess.
Spellbreaker? You can just trade it off, though. I don't know. That's weird.
Could have had one extra 3/3 on the board.
Oh.
Still push the same amount of damage.
Maybe you just want, this is representing so much damage anyway that you just want the Tarim to have a better chance to win? Like on a brawl?
Yeah, but I don't think it's a.
Just try to find a reason.
Percentage enough. I get you.
Oh, I really thought that Tarim was going to win, and I was going to look so smart.
Not today. And Orange just continues the value train. Going to be able to easily trade over this Starkeeper.
Paladin just keeps on coming. It doesn't stop coming.
Damage.
This is a brutal assault of Silverhand recruits. Allie's got
Be able to finish the
Try
quest
Echo.
with the Phantom Militia.
So if she could keep drawing, board sweep style stuff, this game is still reasonable. I mean, now with Fire Plume's Heart active, Sulfuros can, that's over 2 turns, it's going to kill 2 things. The hero power can kill stuff as well. This game's not out of reach. And Allie's holding on to that Gluttonous Ooze as well. I mean, she's looking for the right opportunity, and I think Silver Sword is probably it.
But double consecration.
Yeah, that's that hurts. I mean, the quality consecration was there as well, but it's really the damage pouring in. So now things, we're back to in trouble.
Alliestrasza is going to go down to 8 health. Minions on board. Multiple buff cards in hand for Orange.
Thinking Primordial Drake could be a good one. Like a Discover from the Stonehill.
Stonehill Defender, yep. Rotten Applebaum could be okay, but even Stonehill Defender would need one extra turn before Primordial Drake she would have the mana for it, so.
Just got to find a way to sustain.
Has been holding on to Gluttonous Ooze for quite a while, so has a little bit of extra armor gain, punishing Orange for not attacking with the True Silver Champion. And she's held it for a few turns now, so Orange probably has to read that she doesn't have it. If she had Weapon Destruction, she probably would have played it. But she's been trying to get the taunts online as quick as possible, so that's a little bit of additional health. But at some point with the Quest Taunt Warrior, you need to transition from removing the board to getting the hero power online and not playing defensively any longer.
There's Tarlord, but Orange was wise enough to hold the equality last turn, rather than just use Equality Consecrate. Oh, and Allie's she's going for the smaller stuff. She's like, I don't have time to play this Tarlord. It's too vulnerable. You think about Spellbreaker and you think about Equality. Spread the threats. Gain some armor in the meantime. Oh, Rebuke. Nice little new tool there. 2 mana. Your opponent's spells cost 5 next turn. Or cost 5 more next turn.
It's like the Loetheb effect.
I like that card.
It's not attached to a 5/5 body, but it's much cheaper and it can come much earlier in the game. You can fit it in with other stuff. You can have a lot of development and then play Rebuke to reduce the likelihood that your opponent can clear your board.
Yeah, say you're playing against like a Shutterwalk Shaman, for instance, and they want a Volcano. Sometimes you can shut that off against a warrior that wants to brawl. Make him pay 10 mana for it.
And this is enough damage with Blessing of Kings.
Yeah, that's 14.
That's 14. And Orange looks like he's going to take game 4 and defeat Alliestrasza with a score of 3-1. Putting Europe on the board, up 1-0 in match score, which means they get one additional ban going into that winner-take-all finals.
Showing off